Fu Wenduo agreed with him. The players who could survive until the 7th floor attack game weren't fools. They were caught off guard by the towers attacking on the first day. For the next 6 days, they were prepared and did things like hiding in the already ruined areas. The majority of humans survived. Cities would rise again but knowledge would be lost from the collapse of architecture and the death of scientists. Since yesterday, Tang Mo had been using the infinite non-probability pocket way to find a certain probability of retrieving this lost information. However, this pocket watch didn't just tell the time and didn't work when he wanted to use it. Tang Mo tried it one more time before deciding to abandon it. He no longer tried to use the pocket watch but still kept the pocket watch adjusted to the matching probability of recovering human intelligence. After doing all this, the two of them walked along Pearl River. They looked behind them and saw a half-collapsed tower being carried by several strong Guangzhou players. They moved the Guangzhou tower towards a spacious square. In the square some people were using fire abilities to smelt metal. Others held steel wires and were moving things from the ruins. Soon, the sky became darker. Tang Mo stared at the broken Guangzhou tower and suddenly seemed to find something. He was stunned before smiling helplessly. Maybe we don't have to find it after all. Fu Wenduo looked in the direction of Tang Mo's finger and saw the girl sitting on top of Guangzhou tower. His voice was low as he smiled. Yes, humans are more powerful than we were in the past. Any civilization will be created again and become greater. At the top of the broken Guangzhou tower, a short-haired girl sat and stared up at the moon. As the sky darkened, the moon became clearer. Under the bright moonlight that spilled to earth, some players were startled as they stared at their shadow and murmured, "Ah, it is night." They were returnees. Can we rest? No one thought about the word rest. In the world of the Black Tower games, they were frightened and scared every second. They worried that they would die whenever they played games. If it wasn't the game time, they were worried that they would be killed by others to steal their items. Now it was all over. Once the first person went to find a place to rest, more and more people left. Recreating a new social order might take a lot of time. It might be harder than the tower attack games but this already belonged to global humans, no an individual person. Chen Shanshan held herself as she watched the moon. She watched it for a long time before whispering, "It doesn't seem any different." Her patience was very good so even if she felt it was boring, she didn't easily give up. It was because she had promised Mu Huixu to go back and bask in the moonlight. On the surface, Chen Shanshan was basking in the moonlight but she was actually thinking about what Mu Huixu had experienced. Originally, the little girl thought about whether or not to help rebuild the city and rebuild humanity's social order. However, Luo Fengcheng laughed. These things don't belong to a child like you or Tang Mo and Major Fu, who cleared the 7th floor. It belongs to the whole human race. It is up to all of humanity to decide our future. Chen Shanshan knew what her teacher meant. Humans had passed the test of the Black Tower but the ending of humanity wasn't decided by the Black Tower. Destiny was held firmly in their hands. There was no improvement in her physical fitness and Chen Shanshan couldn't help rebuild the city. Thus, she could only watch the moon. The little girl reached out and grabbed the moonlight. What did you think about when basking in the moon? She had the super intelligent thinking but there was no way to answer a question without a clue from its owner. At the same time, at an architectural design company in the Tianhe district of Guangzhou, an agile black figure quickly moved to an office on the innermost side. This was a very ordinary construction building with a signboard with a few gilded letters. The color was a bit dark like some years had passed. The company had more than 20 tables and chairs, as well as a separate meeting room. In addition, there were 3 separate offices. It didn't look different from any other small company in Guangzhou. The documents on the table showed no hint of abnormalities. However, Bai Ruiao walked to the innermost office and raised his hand with a smile, silver knives flashing from his sleeves. The next moment, the office's bookshelf split in half and fell to the ground. A safe embedded in the wall was exposed. This safe was the most common style. As long as both gears were aligned to the right number, it would be opened. It could also be violently opened. This was easy for senior players who had cleared the 6th floor. Yet Bai Ruiao didn't violently destroy it. He knelt on the ground, pressing one ear closer to the dial as the smile on his face slowly disappeared. The dials each had 200 numbers and he gently turned them for half an hour before finding the correct number. Then he opened the safe and found there was a fingerprint password inside. The baby-faced youth scoffed and pulled out a prop in the shape of a rice cake. He placed it on the fingerprint authentication area and saw the white rice cake twisting. There was a loud sound and the safe completely opened while the white rice cake turned into a pool of white water. Bai Ruiao reached into the safe and pulled out 3 files. He flipped through the first 2 files and threw them aside. Then he looked through the 3rd file and showed a hint of surprise before smiling. Ah, it turned out to be this, dear. He saw an English word in the yellow file, dear. Then it was followed by a detailed introduction. Codename, dear, Mu Huixu. Date of birth, December 16, 1992. Birthplace, Guangzhou. Family relations, father Mu X, mother Li XX, sister Mu XX. Next was a detailed introduction of the family members, as well as Mu Huixu's history in the organization. Mu Huixu killed the first person on the time leaderboard to resurrect someone. Finally, she killed the person she resurrected. Chen Shanshan wanted to know the answer to this question and Bai Ruiao wanted to know it as well. The former wanted to know out of concern for Mu Huixu. Bai Ruiao wanted to know purely out of curiosity. His eyes fell on the information of Mu Huixu's sister. 14 years old, a junior in middle school, it is her. Bai Ruiao sat down and tapped the arms of a chair, his brain activating. I can understand saving my sister if I had a sister. If I had nothing to do and was in a good mood, then I would kill someone to save her. The baby-faced youth was smiling, but his tone was serious, as if he didn't intend to save his loved ones unless he was in a good mood. However, killing her, on Guangzhou Tower, Chen Shanshan quietly spoke her guess. It is because that person tried to kill you. Yes, this was Chen Shanshan's guess about whom Yu Huixiu resurrected. She didn't have any clues or know Mu Huixiu's experience. Still, she worked hard to save a person only to end up killing them. One possibility was that the person wanted to kill her. There were many possibilities for killing a person, such as an ungrateful villain treating their savior as an enemy. Another example was if Mu Huixiu and the person entered the same Black Tower game and only one of them could live. Mu Huixiu survived while the person died. Out of all the possibilities, Chen Shanshan didn't say the most likely one. Bai Ruiao didn't care and directly mentioned the most disappointing and likely reason. Hehe, you killed in order to resurrect a person. As he spoke, his fingers touched the deer on the paper. Mu Huixiu resurrected a person because that person was very important to her. However, in that person's heart, Mu Huixiu might not be the most important. Mu Huixiu was first on the time leaderboard. Killing her meant one person could be resurrected. This condition was too tempting. It was like the poisonous snake that tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden. It simply hooked into the heart without any extra words or tricks.